Hi, Kira.
Hi, Elmer. How you doing today?
I'm very glad that the sun is out and it's Friday.
Me too. Me too. It's kind of nice
Yeah,
to just look over my computer and see the sunshine out there. So it is great.
indeed we can. So tell me, how are you doing? How are things at the Business Journal?
I'm personally doing fine. My family is healthy, and that's all wonderful. Business Journal is crazy busy. Just writing the stories and keeping people informed and finding out how the business leaders in the community are getting through all of this and helping them tell their stories, learning all the information we need from the government officials and all of the help that's out there. My team is busier than we have ever been.
You have this privileged position of being the convening uh, of so many different stories. Can you share any with us that haven't necessarily made it to print?
Oh, wow. I would have to think about that, and I will as we have this conversation. But I've been when I first started with the Business Journal, I did this 100 CEO visits in 100 days, and gathered some really good knowledge and just overview of what was going on in the community and kind of that undercurrent of the things people weren't talking about. And about 2 or 3 days after we started all working from home, I redid that. I set it up again, and I've started having those conversations again. So I've had conversations with all sectors, and we start primarily with how are the leaders and how are their families and how are they, just getting through this personally. And then we're also talking about how their staffs are getting through this. And then we get down to business and what's happening. Everything from a business leader who, at the very beginning of this, was really upset about the shutdown. About telling people to stay home because he really thought he could keep his team working safely and working well. And he was really, really, really unhappy about it. I think he's come to a little bit different place now. Although he has been very successful in keeping his company working throughout this. But then there's people who are 100% just everybody has to stay home and we have to shut down completely. And so it's been, and everything in between. So it's been interesting to see the different decisions that have been made from the different leadership, none of which are right, wrong, or indifferent. It's what's right for that particular organization. But I will say that the thing that has been running through it all is every single business person that I talk to talks about how they and their staff are working to help other people in the community. And that's not surprising to me because we're Milwaukee and this is what we do. But it's just a lovely, wonderful part of the story that we're going through.
That sense of coming together and collaboration has been a consistent theme in the conversations I've been having with GMC members and the leaders. Um, I, I, before we started recording, I asked you how you were doing, and you said that if this was going to happen, you'd just as well have it happily happen here. And so, tell me more about that.
Well, I was writing my first publisher column after this all really kind of came crashing down. I wrote that if myself and my family and my staff have to go through this, I am really glad it's happening here because of the community that we have. That's one of the things that I think every American City Business Journal market has that I think the ones that don't have a business journal in it don't have is that really tight business and community leadership group that truly care about each other. Because we get together a lot, we talk a lot, we share stories a lot, and we share the good times and the bad times, and so I'm really, really, really happy that if I'd prefer none of us have to go through this, but if we have to go through it, I'm glad we're here in Milwaukee.
So, you all made the decision, like some other publications, to make all of your coverage around COVID-19 accessible to folks who don't have subscriptions. Tell me about that decision process.
We did do that originally, and we did do that with anything that is really critical business. The behind the scenes stories are still subscriber only, and you will continue to see that. And part of the reason for that is we have to support journalism. Our American City Business Journals, and particularly the Milwaukee Business Journal, have been actually adding reporters. We've added reporters in the last couple of years when journalism all over the country and all over the world has just been devastated. And so while we do put the most critical information out there for everybody, we encourage everybody to be a subscriber so that you can read the in-depth stories and the stories that the reporters can write only because we have the financial support of the community. So you'll see a little bit of both. And I will tell you that the stories that will probably mean the most to you and the real in-depth behind the scenes business and the personal stories that are coming out of this, those are going to be stories that are going to be worth, one story is going to be worth your entire year's subscription because you're going to learn so much from it. But that's how we are able to keep our outstanding journalists on the street and bringing you guys the best of journalism can offer.
So I'm going to offer this in the most neutral way I can. I was trading emails and texts with one of your journalists just this morning, yeah, who was, doing exactly as he's supposed to do, looking for people to tell stories and to cover them in the most, personal way possible. So I appreciate everything that you all are doing and the approach that you've taken to making sure that we're keeping those success stories and the realities of doing business in Milwaukee at the forefront. So I wonder, how has your decision process and your management process been affected by the shutdown?
Everything, everything has changed. I'm used to being able to just, pull my head around the corner and talk with people and have the meaningful conversations about everything from the editorial things and the direction and Mark and his team are doing, and taking a peek over the shoulder of our amazing design team. And I can't do that right now. We're doing it virtually, but it's completely different from being able to just, walk down just a little bit down the way and talk with our marketing people and talk to them about some of the issues and problems that our advertising clients are having. So all of that has to be done a little bit differently, but some of it's been good. I now have a standing 8:30 stand-up meeting with our editorial team, and I would in the past pop in on occasion on those, but I'm there every single solitary day now. So I have the opportunity to be kind of in front of them on a more regular basis. So I think it's one good thing that's going to come out of this. There'll be different ways that we're communicating that are good. I'm kind of excited about that, and I go directly from that one to a daily meeting with our sales and advertising team and talking with them about the challenges that the people who are the really smart people are keeping their brands out there right now, because they have first of all, they have a huge share of voice. It's a great time to get great marketing really inexpensively almost anywhere you go, not just with us, but almost anywhere you go. But also, this is the time where if you can be a business that is helping people learn and get information, you're going to stand out. So that's, it's a really good time. And so I get to have those conversations really quickly via video every single solitary day. So there's some good things too.
So you had started some fantastic coverage of unemployment and the unique situation in Milwaukee prior to the crisis. How do you see that story changing? What do you expect from the crisis in terms of, extending the issue or hopefully improving it?
Well, obviously everything is changing on a minute by minute basis right now. 2-3 years ago, we started with the Jobs Gap series that we really talked about the challenge that there were tens of thousands, there still are tens of thousands of highly paid jobs maybe not today, but as of a month ago, there were tens of thousands of highly paid jobs that were out there and available and ready to go. But there were people who were on the sidelines and either not prepared for them or not able to take them for some reason. And so we did a whole series on the jobs gap and why was that an issue and what could we do? And we watched as the community really pulled together to start getting more people trained for some of these more technical jobs or industry jobs that they maybe either didn't know about or weren't trained for in the past. And that jobs gap really tightened up until there was a huge job surplus just 5 weeks ago. Just tens of thousands of people who were looking for, technical people or people who are willing to work in manufacturing and all kinds of different areas. Almost everybody was searching for talent. And then all of a sudden that stopped. But it didn't completely stop. So there are still people who are working and there's still companies out there who desperately need people, even if they need them only temporarily. Every expert that I talk to says something different. It's going to be a V bounce. It's going to be a U bounce. It's going to be a L. That would be a terrible one. An L would be bad. But we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be different for the different industries. The people who have to bring people together are probably going to have the longest downturn. But that's part of our business too. About 30% of our revenue is bringing people together with each other at our events. And so we're working through that. We've started virtual events already, and we'll be doing more and more and more of those. And I think you'll be, I don't know if you saw the Make-A-Wish event that they had, and they did it virtually, and they did very, very well on it. So people are going to figure out different ways to communicate and to engage with each other. So we'll come out of it probably a little bit better and smarter. My guess is in our events world, things will be partial in-person event and partial digital event where you can come and enjoy in any way you want to, which is very similar to the way we treat all the rest of our content. If you want to read it on the web, if you want to read it in the paper, if you want to read it on your phone, if you want to read it in a newsletter or come to an event, you can get it any way you want to. And our events will probably go more toward that. So it's a little variety of how you can work with us and communicate with the other business leaders. But you know what? It's changing every day. It's changing actually every hour. Something new, some new opportunity has come out.
So one of the things we've seen is a group that you all created, that you helped convene, the 40 under 40 class, has gotten busy with generating some resources and sharing them. Tell us more about that.
Well, so every year we honor 40 of the best and brightest up and coming individuals in the community. And one of the things that I think is really neat about it is that they have an opportunity to really get to know each other. And we share with them that this is a great award and a wonderful thing for them, but they are really ambassadors of a whole other group of people who are equally as qualified and doing equally great work. They're the very close, I apologize, my phone rang. So, but okay. They're the representatives of everything that's good in our community. And so we have a few of those folks who really love that message. And so they've gotten together. Some of them are doing some fundraising together, but they have alumni club meetings that we host, but they have their own alumni club meetings too. And they just get to know each other, and they take that honor and that I call it a responsibility to bring their entire generation together and to do good. And so it's really wonderful. It's that one and the Women of Influence group too. We bring them together at least 4 times a year, and they do a lot of great work together.
I love those stories, and shameless plug, I'm so honored to have been included in that 40 under 40 list a few years ago. So yeah, we're proud to do everything we can to sort of be contributors to the community.
Mhm.
So, you know, as I was mentioning earlier, one of the benefits of these conversations is getting a few private moments with GMC members in their home spaces or in their private places. And behind you, we can see all this beautiful artwork. Would you like to tell us anything about it?
Well, it's just a hobby, but I just like it. I love color, and it calms me. It's something that I get to do when I'm just not, you know, kind of off the clock. And I've been inspired by Julia Taylor. She is a fabulous professional watercolorist, amazing, and she's been leading a group of us to kind of learn how to paint in watercolors. And so I've just been playing with it. It's a lot of fun, and I like color, and I like having different things behind me. So I'm like, just put it up there, and it's just a
Well,
hobby. So you know, none of it's very good yet. Maybe one day I'll get good.
I would beg to differ. I'm so excited to see the work that you've made, and I love that it's on display and that we're going to get to share it with your GMC peers.
Thank you.
So you've got this private audience. Here you are talking to uh, the most significant leaders in our community, from business, nonprofit, and from higher education. What's the thing that you would want to share with them about how we might face getting through this together and as quickly as possible?
Well, we simply are going to get through it. I mean, it's going to be hard. It's going to be longer than we wish it would be. But we will get through this. We will come out on the other side of this. And there are such amazing professionals, and you know, and our government, and, you know, whatever you believe in, you know, your politics, all of the different aspects of government have at least started to come together to start supporting everybody else. So, you know, while things are clunky and cumbersome, you know, I have great hope that we will get through this. Fiscally and or financially, it's going to be hard for a little while, but I think the resilience that we're building up, and the ability to understand how quickly we can pivot, but our teams can pivot when they have to pivot. I don't think we'll ever go back to, it's not done that way, or, oh, I can't do that, or you can't work from home, or you know, we just don't do it that way. I don't think any of us will ever go back to that. And if we do, shame on us. I am just amazed at how quickly my team in particular just jumped in and are doing their jobs completely remotely. And our printer, I mean, our printer, we're, you know, a whole different set of situations. That paper is on time every Friday. And, you know, and from our Wi-Fi and all kinds of different things that we have to deal with, everybody has really been amazing. So you know, again, it's going to be hard coming out of this financially, and particularly in the industries that revolve around getting people together. It's going to be really hard, but we're going to be better and stronger because we went through this. We always are. And I'm, like I said, I'm really proud of the way that Milwaukee's helping each other. So tell those stories too. You know, the story about the fact that, you know, Greg Marcus tells the story about having to lay off a huge number of his employees. But I personally know the guy who does all the buying for their company. And he and all of their vendors got together and put together these amazing food and personal item care packages for their staff. I mean, just pallets and pallets and pallets and pallets of things that they could use to help get them through it. You know, those are the kinds of stories that are just, you hear over and over and over again. We need to tell those stories. So, you know, reach out to me, reach out to my editorial team, Mark Cass, and any of the reporters to tell those stories, because we are resilient. We will get through this. We will be stronger. And we just need to share those stories.
I couldn't agree more. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to make a prediction, and I'm going to ask you to describe a future 2 or 3 years from today where some change has occurred. We expect there to be some remnants of this crisis that are embedded in our culture, in our styles of work, what's one that you're looking forward to?
I think the opportunity to engage people, even when we're not able to be physically face to face, I hope that that never goes away. I hope that we can do things like we're doing today all the time, which will, I think, lead to an even greater depth of commitment to each other and even greater depth of relationship. One of the other things, which again, it's not great financially right now, but our world is less polluted today than it was. And I hope that we find ways to use these these technologies that we can use right now so that we can keep up a little bit of that. Because, you know, even if we help the world by 5% in the future of what we're doing today, you know, that'll be good for everybody.
Kira, thank you so much for making some time today.
Yep,
It's been wonderful talking to you, as it always is. And I'm really looking forward to getting to talk to you again face to face.
Great, me too.